I want to admire them all. There is truly like 50 groups of Chinese influencers. Some of them are live streaming, some are taking...
Oh, there's more!
I know, there's so many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just in this little pocket. This is the influencer capital of China. And not so known in the West for some reason. Maybe they're trying to change that. This is where your state-sponsored TikToks are coming from.
Today, I'm in the city of Harbin, a village turned megacity thanks to the Russian Empire in the late 1800s. It blew up as a transportation hub for the Eastern Chinese Railway, connecting the Trans-Siberian route more easily to Vladivostok, a place where east, well, meets further east. For some time, it was considered a display of Russian imperialism, where the Chinese became a minority in their own city. But today, it's an industrial hub, mainly displayed as a big Russian-themed gift shop and a hotspot for Chinese influencers. But anyways, let's go ahead and see what we can find in China's bizarre Russian metropolis.
It's China's social media season. It kind of suits, you know, like online. You have all the Chinese social media farms. There's like lines and lines of people. What is it? A cafe.
Who pays you to do this?
Oh, we have more women who are suffering in their cold ass dresses. Anything for the photo shoot. Ah, it's so slippery.
I haven't slipped once.
Yeah. This is a proper Russian city, unlike the fake ones that I desire to find in the deep far north. It's built as a railway station in 1907, or the center of the Russian railway, and a symbol of Eastern influence. You have one of the last Orthodox churches made before the October Revolution, kind of marking the end of a Russian-Sino relationship pre-communism. And Harbin, still to this day, has retained a lot of its Russian influence. And you have beautiful structures and massive amounts of Chinese state-sponsored influencers. They have all kinds of interesting things to say. It was rated as one of the top tourist destinations in China for multiple years. I mean, I'm not really sure why there's so many people here. It makes me feel a little weird about it. About a kilometer from here towards the water is kind of the Russian quarter, and more older Russian buildings built in the 1800s and early 1900s. We're gonna leave influencer Russian heaven behind and go find hopefully some real Russian food. That's the real purpose here. For me, at least. Yeah, I mean, it really does just look like a suburb of Moscow, just slightly outside of city center. Okay, time to go. It's so fucking cold. Did not prepare any winter clothes. It takes up way too much space. So we're gonna try to look in this mystery shopping center. See if I can find anything a little warmer. What? What is it?
It's crab.
What the fuck? Candied crab. I was hoping to find gloves, but it's mainly food in this market. It smells like beer. Beer and sausage. This is great and all, but where? Oh, these look good. Look at these sausages. Oh, how much are they? More sausages. More sausages. Look, you can get a whole big ass box of sausage. What is that?
Ball.
Huh. Cheese ball. Or is it a sausage ball? You can get goji berries with your silkworms. China's weird. They got really good ones. You've got the Sant. An eternity in an hour. Never give up. To see a world in a grain of sand. And heaven in a wild flower for eternity in an hour.
Oh.
That's that is a lot, honestly.
Yes, hentai eyes.
Hentai? Why would you think about hentai? Why'd you look at his face and think about hentai?
What? Because his eyeball.
Okay, we'll take the wink moment.
What?
The fucking wink moment.
Since I can't personally find the need for fake pistols, Matryoshka dolls, or a Putin-sponsored nutcracker, I'm off to Old Town. I heard that there's an old communist street market, and since this is a Chinese Russian city, that's gotta be double the communism.
Decided to take a stop. It's interesting. Skyscrapers behind me, and then to the left and right are just old Russian-made buildings from the 1920s and onward. So it's knick-knack salesman. Wonder what's in there. Seems like old interesting junk. The China door. Insulated China door. Ugh. Let's see. Oh, it's old things. Money exchange. Hello. Stumbled into an antique market.
It turns out that I stumbled across the antique district of the city, with stalls selling old currency and many, many Chairman Mao inspired relics.
More statues of Mao. Lots of busts of Mao. There's like a whole street set up for just antique, miscellaneous kind of random shit. It seems the old quarter of the city has been overtaken by construction projects. An investment group bought out most of the old buildings and are refurbishing them, probably for tourism purposes. But for now, it seems to be an open-air antique market, selling everything from busts of Mao to old currency to questionable pieces of old pre-Civil War propaganda. We need to find some good material here back at the market. I'm going to see if we can ask more about some of this and how much it costs. I like the one with the aggressive propaganda men. 你好，这是什么？I will get this very intense man here. 1973.
Yeah. 是多少？
那本60，
60。
那是70年出的，这不写着70年吗？
Oh, because it's old.
Yeah.
70年代。
Okay. Good investment. So like any person needs in their life, I've acquired a piece of Maoist propaganda, Maoist war propaganda from 1973. There's a lot of interesting things in this market. You even have old farming supplies and tools and random things. They're all vintage. They're all from like another era. Really bizarre market. I think I'm one of none here. Everyone's just staring at me.
In the denser part of the market, the salespeople brought their own portable speakers, competing for noise in the very packed space. But sadly, I don't need rusty farming hardware, broken radios, or communist jackets from the 60s, let alone whatever the hell this thing is. So I think it's time to abandon the market for now.
There's so much stuff. Chinese barbecue. No, it says Baroque. The region, or this area of the city, is just known as the Baroque Quarter. It kind of looks like Beijing meets Russia, with the gray brick, and then all of the 1920s European style architecture on the side.
The old quarter seems like a bit of a work in progress, maybe in more ways than one, due to this friendly reminder from the police.
If you lose, you will be hospitalized. If you win, you will go to jail. This is a nice fucking pose. I don't know what that was supposed to represent, but I think this is a place of leisure.
I liked the communist market, but it's time to leave the Baroque quarter. Maybe I'll come back in a few years when it's finished being rebuilt. But for now, Let's see what kind of things we can find in city center.
The road up here to the left and the right. Nice music.
I'm now walking along the longest pedestrian street in all of Asia, but they are absolutely blasting copyright music at max volume. Some new Chinese megastar made a song about this city a few years ago, and now loudspeakers play it nearly all day, surely to much pain for the locals.
As time went on, and then during China's own civil war, most of the Russian population left. And the railway, which was the Eastern Chinese Railway, owned and subsidized by the Russians, has now dissipated. If you're Chinese, you would think that the entire diet of the Russians is strictly bread and sausage and vodka, which isn't too far off of reality, but not quite. Every single fucking city in China has this fake cave. They're in Beijing, they're in Shanghai, they're in Harbin, they're in anywhere that there's a tourist presence at all. Guangzhou, and probably many more.
I saw something that I can't ignore. A fake Japanese mall down some poorly lit stairs called the Harajuku Shopping Center. Let's go and take a look.
How could they brutalize her? One thing that's really fun about China is there's just bootleg abominations of nearly every cultural icon you can think of. They have a Harajuku Spring Mall built under the traditional Russian shopping street, and it's just bastardized versions of Harajuku fashion. You have claw machines, poorly recreated anime characters, and a bunch of bootleg Gucci. 100 yuan Gucci shirt, $14. That's pretty good. I've been wanting to get my hands on the Goku meme jacket for a long time now. Maybe this is finally my chance. Looks like in the far north, the government's attempts at getting rid of all the fakes and cornering it into more niche markets has not been as successful. That is the most curvy mannequin I've ever seen. He's got the Prada jeans.
Sadly, I failed to find the Goku drip, so let's check out Harbin's famous frozen river before the sun goes down.
You know, the goal is to make it before winter in the far north, but it's pretty obvious that failed tremendously. The fucking river running through the city is completely iced over. More like slushed over, as someone unfortunately found out at one point. Yeah, you can see a gondola in the distance, Ferris wheel, heading towards what appears to be a beautiful Russian castle.
Although that beautiful Russian castle is just an amusement park.
There's a woman selling, selling sparklers for photos here. I'm not really sure why, but yeah, for funsies. It's nice. You're gonna be so cold.
Didn't go
Nice,
very far.
nice shot.
Since we are in China's most Russian city, I think it's time to find something to eat and see what China thinks Russian food is supposed to be.
You're not in it, but now you are. Need to find the source of the yelling from what looks like a street food stalls up there, and he's yelling in Chinese to come get his food, something indecipherable, and then don't go to the other stalls selling the same thing. So I'm sure his neighbors fucking hate his guts. Oh, there's nothing here. Huh? He's just fucking, there's nothing. Is this thing bugged out?
It seems that the world's most annoying street vendor is absent today, so let's get back on topic. Russian food, well, Chinese Russian food, which may or may not be similar to the normal Russian food. Fortunately for me, I have a seat reserved at the most famous spot in the city.
Yeah, I want to see what China thinks the ideal Russian snack is. A fucking bear.
Greeted by both a bear and a live accordion performance, I have a pretty good feeling about this.
Animal heads on the wall. A bear on the wall. Yeah. And little Russian flags at every table.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah. And the waitstaff, they start off by saying "Здравствуйте."
Do they really?
Yeah.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, they got the Russian lingo down. You have all of Russia right here.
Clearly.
Yeah, you have all of the buildings, all of the architecture, you can get the food. It looks authentic. Although, to be honest, that doesn't look like sour cream, it looks like mayonnaise. Taking a big gamble on the Chinese Russian food. Miscellaneous Russian beer.
The Chinese borscht and the beer were admittedly very good, well, except for one glaring issue.
This is this wiggly thing. First Russian Chinese dish is, I give it a 7. Shishi. Ooh. That one looks good. The sausage is quite good. It is genuinely good, but the sauce literally tastes like the fucking Vietnamese chili sauce. It's like ketchup-y chili sauce. I don't know what it's doing on a Russian sausage, but the sausage itself, a 7.5 out of 10. Good job, China. If it's passable, that's really good.
Am I supposed to use this?
It looks like chili salt. I have no idea. It turns out that this, what I thought was a chili salt, is just 5 spice mixed with salt in true Chinese fashion. No fucking way. The Pitbull music.
And I think it's J-Lo. I think it's J-Lo.
J-Lo and Pitbull accordion music. Guy playing the accordion is doing a fantastic job. This is Harbin Central. You're fucked after this one. Let's give it a go.
It's less soft, it's more crumbly.
They did a good job. It was good. It was actually surprisingly decent. I'd rate it 7 out of 10 overall, which is higher than average. Yeah, much higher than I anticipated. I expected a 4. It's fucking cold. It's time to head back for now. Would you eat the Chinese bread sandwich? This shit looks good. Get a healthy breakfast to start the day.
It's my second and last day in Harbin, and I'm looking for a very unique piece of history. You see, Harbin used to be home to over 10,000 Eastern European Jews that migrated from places like Russia and Ukraine. In fact, China borders a region of the Russian Far East that used to be a Jewish autonomous region, making for a very strange demographic. And for nearly a century, this city had the largest population of Jews in all of East Asia.
For one of the last stops in Harbin, you have one of the only major synagogues in all of Asia. Because at one point, the Manchuria region, when occupied by Russia in the 1800s and 1900s, was home to a large portion of the Russian Jews, which since were gradually displaced and relocated and moved towards Israel and to other parts of Europe. Here was once a haven for Jewish people living in Russia's Far East and the northeast corner of what we traditionally consider Asia. Interesting history, right?
Yeah.
Look at these buildings. They're cool. All Russian style buildings. Interesting. Yeah, at one point this would have been full of Jewish people living next to Chinese people. Over 10,000 of them in this city.
How do the Chinese feel about the Jews?
Good question. Let's ask someone right now. What do you think about the Jews? I don't know what Chinese people think about the Jews, but I do know that they support Palestine in their anti-imperial, anti-Western style campaign.
But Jews and Chinese people like each other in New York.
Oh yeah, the Jewish and Chinese connection is built based on neither celebrate Christmas, and all the Chinese restaurants in New York are still open on Christmas Day and Christmas Eve. But I don't think that applies here in Harbin.
One of my last missions in Harbin is to find some kvass and pelmeni, and I think I found a spot, but I used Chinese social media to find it, so who knows if I translated things properly.
I've been trying to find Russian style dumplings and ended up here. And the lady didn't know what Russian dumplings were. She said, "Oh, we have Chinese dumplings," but they're at a Russian restaurant. She was saying that her dumplings are thick-skinned, also good like Russian dumplings. This is special though. I have not seen this outside of Russia ever. It's kvass, which is a lightly fermented drink. It's like 1% alcohol or something. It's in Russia. I don't know if this is still the case, but it used to not be considered alcohol at all. You could drink it while driving. It didn't matter. It was its own separate category.
I like kombucha.
Have you ever tried kvass?
I haven't. I've never been to Russia. What is it made with?
It's a fermented wheat, I believe.
Oh, it's tasty.
Yeah, it's good. So it's rare to find outside of Russia. It's really good, right? I'm impressed they have it. Russian milk meatloaf and kvass. The meatloaf is pretty funny. It's like boiled, heavily boiled in whipped milk.
It's also salted.
Deep fried meatloaf or battered meatloaf. These are really good actually. Little Russian style meatballs, tomato sauce, a little different than the ones yesterday. That was a good last meal. Last Russian meal forever. You won't be going to Russia anytime soon, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately.
It's almost time for me to depart the city, since I'm driving even further north today, but I'm back to the frozen river one last time.
This is second to last thing I wanted to stop by in the city. I was hoping to see a little bit more blatant piece of history here, considering that the name of this park is Stalin Park, named posthumously of the once controversially terrible leader of the Soviet Union, but now memorialized in this Chinese Russian-esque city in China's far north. There's not a lot of interesting happening in this park. It's just a park. I was thinking maybe there'd be a statue of Stalin, a big obnoxious bust of his head. But instead, it's just icy steps down to a river, a view of the gondola from yesterday. So this is Stalin Park on the frozen river, splitting the city of Harbin, the capital of the Heilongjiang province in China. Now I can't think of a better place to sit down, finish the day, and read my new piece of communist literature. It's what he would have wanted. That's it for Harbin. Until next time, we're heading further north into the wintry foothills of Inner Mongolia and Siberia. Wish me luck.
Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe if you're interested in more. I appreciate the growth of the channel, even if it's small. Next week, I visit the world's largest city, or at least the emptiest one.